The 1844 wireless towers. There is a photograph taken in 1884 of a building in Philadelphia. On the roof of that building, there is a tower. Not a chimney, not a flagpole. A tower with a specific shape, a specific height, and a specific design that appears on rooftops across the entire city in the background of that same photograph. Nobody officially explains what those towers were for. Now look at photographs of New York in 1890. Same towers. Chicago in 1893, same towers. London in 1888, same towers. Paris in 1878, same towers. São Paulo in 1900, same towers. Melbourne in 1895, same towers. Every major city on Earth, same towers, same design, same height, same placement on rooftops, and then, between 1920 and 1940, they all disappeared. Every single one of them. Removed, demolished, or simply gone. With no official explanation for why they were built, and no official explanation for why they were taken down. Today we are going to talk about what those towers actually were, because the official history of electricity, wireless transmission, and energy distribution has a gap in it, a very specific gap, between roughly 1820 and 1900, and those towers sit right in the middle of that gap. Part 1. What the official history tells us. The official story of electricity goes like this. In 1831, Michael Faraday discovered electromagnetic induction. In 1879, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. In 1882, Edison opened the first electrical power station on Pearl Street in Manhattan, powering 85 buildings. And from there, the electrical grid slowly expanded outward over the following decades until it covered the modern world. That is the story. And parts of it are true. Edison did open that power station. Faraday did discover electromagnetic induction. The light bulb did change the world. But here is what that official story doesn't explain. If electrical infrastructure didn't exist before 1882, if cities were running entirely on gas lamps and candles before Edison's power station, then what were those towers on the rooftops for? Because those towers predate Edison. Photographs from the 1840s, the 1850s, the 1860s, decades before the Pearl Street station, show the same towers already standing on buildings across multiple cities, already built, already in place, already connected to something. And here is the second thing the official story doesn't explain. Edison's Pearl Street station powered 85 buildings through underground copper cables. That's the official record. But copper cables degrade. They require maintenance, they require insulation, they require enormous infrastructure to install and run. And the coverage area of the Pearl Street station was, by its own documented records, less than 1 square mile. So how, in photographs from the same era, do we see electrical lighting and powered equipment appearing simultaneously in cities thousands of miles apart, in countries that had no documented connection to Edison's infrastructure? Something was powering those cities, and it wasn't copper cables running from a single station in Lower Manhattan. Part 2. Nikola Tesla and what he actually discovered. Now let's talk about Nikola Tesla. Because Tesla is usually presented in mainstream history as a brilliant but tragic figure, the man who invented alternating current, lost a business war to Edison, and died broke and alone in a hotel room in 1943. That's the version they teach. But Tesla's actual work tells a completely different story. And it connects directly to those towers. In 1899, Tesla moved to Colorado Springs and built a laboratory. In that laboratory, he conducted experiments in wireless energy transmission. Not wireless communication, wireless energy. The ability to transmit electrical power through the air or through the earth itself, without any cables, without any wires, without any physical connection between the source and the receiver. And he succeeded. His Colorado Springs notes, which are documented, published, and available, describe experiments where he lit 200 light bulbs wirelessly from a distance of 25 miles. 200 bulbs, 25 miles. No wires. In 1899, In 1901, Tesla began construction of Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island. The official story says this was a wireless communication tower, a competitor to Marconi's radio transmitter. But Tesla's own letters and patents describe something completely different. He wasn't building a communication tower. He was building a power transmission tower, a system designed to transmit electrical energy wirelessly to any point on Earth using the ionosphere as a conductor. In 1917, the United States government demolished Wardenclyffe Tower. Officially, the reason was national security, concerns that German spies might use it as a navigation landmark during World War I. But the war had been ongoing for 3 years before they demolished it. And they didn't just take it down. They blew up the foundation. They dug up the underground shaft beneath it. They made sure nothing remained. Why would a communication tower, which is all the official history claims it was, require that level of destruction? Part 3. The towers that were already there. Here is where it gets interesting, because Tesla didn't invent the concept of wireless energy transmission. He rediscovered it. Those towers on the rooftops in photographs from the 1840s and 1850s, 50 years before Tesla's Colorado Springs experiments, follow a pattern that is impossible to explain as decoration or coincidence. They appear on specific types of buildings: government buildings, post offices, courthouses, hotels, train stations, the large institutional buildings that were always built first in any new city, the buildings that were always built to last, the buildings that were always built with the most sophisticated construction techniques available at the time. They are positioned at specific heights, not randomly placed on whatever part of the roof was convenient. Positioned at calculated heights relative to the buildings around them, they are made of specific materials. The ones that have been analyzed, the ones that survived long enough to be examined, show construction techniques involving copper, iron, and specific geometric shapes that match precisely the principles of electromagnetic resonance, and they are spaced at specific distances from each other. In city after city, if you map the locations of these towers on a grid, they fall at regular intervals, not the irregular spacing you would expect from buildings constructed at different times by different owners for different purposes. Regular, calculated, as if they were placed according to a system that was designed to distribute something across the entire city, something that every major institutional building needed access to, something that required towers at calculated heights and distances to function. What does that sound like to you? Part 4. The 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Let's talk about the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, because this event is one of the most well-documented moments in American history, and it contains an anomaly that nobody in mainstream history has ever adequately explained. The fair covered 690 acres. It contained 200 buildings. It was attended by 27 million people over 6 months. And it was, by every contemporary account, completely and fully illuminated by electrical light. 100,000 light bulbs, the most electrically lit event in human history up to that point. People came from around the world specifically to see the electric lights. It was called the White City because of how brightly it glowed at night. Now, here is the anomaly. The fair opened in May 1893. Construction of the main buildings began in 1891. The entire complex, 200 buildings, 690 acres, 100,000 light bulbs, was built and fully electrified in less than 2 years. For context, the Empire State Building, with all of the construction technology of 1930, took 410 days to build. One building. The World's Fair built 200 buildings and electrified all of them in roughly the same time frame. The official explanation is that Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse won the contract to provide electrical power for the fair, and they did so using alternating current generators. And that is partially true. Tesla and Westinghouse were involved. Their names are in the records. But here is what those records don't explain. The infrastructure required to power 100,000 light bulbs across 690 acres, the generators, the cables, the distribution systems, the switching equipment, would have required years of installation work on its own, separate from the construction of the buildings themselves, unless the infrastructure was already there, unless those buildings were connected to something that already existed beneath the ground or through the air before construction of the fair even began. Photographs of the fair show towers on nearly every major building, the same towers that appear in photographs of Chicago before the fair was built, the same towers that appear in photographs of cities around the world, standing in place, doing something. Something that the official history of the 1893 World's Fair doesn't mention. After the fair closed in October 1893, the buildings were demolished. All of them. 200 buildings that had taken 2 years and an enormous amount of money to construct, demolished within months. Most were burned. The rest were torn down. Almost nothing remains. Why would you build 200 buildings and then immediately destroy them? And why, when you destroyed them, would you make sure they burned completely? Part 5. The disappearance between 1920 and 1940, the rooftop towers disappeared, city by city, across the world. And this disappearance coincides with something very specific in the official history of energy. It coincides with the aggressive expansion of the centralized electrical grid. Before 1920, electrical power was inconsistent. Some neighborhoods had it, some didn't. Some cities had partial coverage. The infrastructure was incomplete, unreliable, and expensive. After 1940, the centralized grid was essentially complete across the developed world. Power lines ran to nearly every building. Electricity was metered, billed, paid for, monthly, to a utility company. And the rooftop towers were gone. Think about what that transition means in practical terms. Before the grid, electricity, or whatever energy source those towers were distributing, appears to have been ambient, available, accessible from the infrastructure that already existed on and between buildings, not metered, not billed. After the grid, electricity comes from one source, through cables, through meters, through monthly bills, controlled by companies, dependent on continued payment. One system was distributed, decentralized, available to anyone connected to the existing infrastructure. The other system is centralized, controlled, monetized. One of those systems is enormously profitable. The other one is not profitable at all. And between 1920 and 1940, precisely as the profitable centralized system was being installed, the infrastructure of the previous system was removed. Piece by piece, tower by tower, city by city, around the world. Part 6. What Tesla said. In 1926, Nikola Tesla gave an interview to Collier's magazine. In that interview, he said something that has been largely ignored by mainstream historians. He said that within a few years, it would be possible to transmit power wirelessly to any point on Earth, and that this power would be essentially free to the end user once the transmission infrastructure was in place. Free to the end user. He said the same thing in multiple letters, multiple interviews, multiple patent applications throughout his career. The technology he was developing, the technology that Wardenclyffe Tower was designed to demonstrate, was not designed to make money from electricity consumption. It was designed to make electricity itself free and universally available. In 1917, his tower was demolished. In 1943, he died alone in a hotel room. His papers were immediately seized by the United States government's Office of Alien Property, despite the fact that Tesla was an American citizen. Those papers remained classified for decades. Some of them have never been fully released. A man who was trying to give the world free energy died, broke. His work was seized by the government, and within 20 years of his death, the rooftop towers that had been distributing something across every major city on Earth were completely gone. We are not telling you what to conclude from that. We are just telling you what happened. Part 7. The global pattern. Let's zoom out one final time, because the towers in American cities are only part of the story. In St. Petersburg, Russia, photographs from the 1860s show the same towers on government buildings, the same height, the same design, the same placement. In Melbourne, Australia, photographs from the 1880s, same towers. In Buenos Aires, photographs from the 1890s, same towers. In Cairo, photographs from the same era show towers on buildings that were constructed in the 1800s during the period of major Western-influenced construction in the city. Same towers. These cities had no shared electrical company, no shared infrastructure contract, no documented communication with each other about rooftop tower design. They were on different continents, under different governments, speaking different languages. And yet the towers are identical. The same height, the same materials, the same placement, the same disappearance timeline. When you find an identical architectural feature appearing simultaneously on every continent, with no documented explanation for its construction and no documented explanation for its removal, there are only two possible conclusions. Either it was a coincidence, the same decorative choice made independently by architects in Russia, America, Australia, Argentina, and Egypt, all at the same time, for no documented reason, and then all removed at the same time for no documented reason. Or it was a system, a single global system, built by someone, for something, and then deliberately dismantled when a different system, a system that required payment, was ready to replace it. We started this video with a photograph from 1884, a building in Philadelphia with a tower on its roof, and towers on every building visible in the background. By the time you finish watching this video, we want you to do one thing. Find old photographs of your city, your town, whatever place you live in or grew up near. Find photographs from before 1920, and look at the rooftops, look for the towers. Because once you see them, you will see them everywhere, in every old photograph, in every city, on every continent, standing in place, doing something, something that the official history of energy, electricity, and technology has never adequately explained. And then ask yourself, if those towers were just decoration, if they served no function, if they were just architectural flourishes that happened to appear identically on every continent simultaneously, why did someone spend the time, the money, and the effort to remove every single one of them? You don't demolish decoration. You don't spend money tearing down something that was never doing anything. You demolish infrastructure. You remove systems. You dismantle things that are working when you want to replace them with something else, something you can charge for. We're not here to tell you what to believe. We're here to show you what's there. And what's there, in photograph after photograph, city after city, continent after continent, are towers that nobody officially explained, doing something that nobody officially documented, removed at exactly the moment when metered electricity became the global standard. Make of that what you will. If this made you think, subscribe, because next time we're going even deeper. We're looking at the buildings those towers were attached to, the courthouses, the post offices, the train stations, and asking who actually built them, how they built them so fast, and why they all share the exact same architectural blueprint, regardless of which continent they're on. The towers were just the beginning.